out spaces, for ceremonies. That is what my initial plan was. But now that has taken the back seat. It's become the backup plan now.
Thank you so much, Clifford, for those insights. And let's move to Denzel, who actually is kind of making the plan B, plan A now in terms of delving into quite a few different things. So Denzel, you have some bit of hospitality business going, and you also are kind of trying a few other things. So when did you believe that you need to do all this, and what are you doing? Tell us more about it. Denzel, you are on mute. Can you go unmute yourself?
All right. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you, Sukhvi sir, for having me here. It's a privilege to be here, and especially with the legends along with me, who I have watched playing and grown. Well, it all started, for me when I was playing. I have already want to give something back to the game, beautiful game, and that is through either coaching or may it be the platform that Sukhvi sir you have given me, that is in scouting. Thanks to you for that, because I until you spoke to me and told me the talent, the hidden talent that I have, I was not sure about if I really, besides football, could do this. And I'm working on it with all the support that you've given me and definitely my family. But while playing, I always had a plan B that was, if not coaching, as Clifford Bhai said, that he's already thinking about managing, events. And I had a plan B in also, besides coaching, to have a small boutique resort of mine, which finally I ended up doing in 2016 while playing. And that was the best situation that I created for myself, I feel, because first of all, I am more connected to Goa than traveling away from the hometown, associated with Goa, with whatever that comes. And I love being in home. And besides hotel, I also have a small cafe that I run in Panjim. So that in general made me little stable while playing, to invest something in this department, to get some income in future. But all said and done, I'm really enjoying at this point of time being scouting talent ID head of the division at the Singh Sports Venture, because I feel if I catch a young player, watch him grow, and then give him to the clubs, and that's going to be a plus point for me, a happiness for me. At this point of time, I'm looking and really concentrating on this part of my journey. At the same time, I enjoy my training sessions with the young kids. In spite of the lockdown, I do make it a point that I try to have some online classes for my young kids that I used to train at Kakulo Mall, when I'm the coach for the toddlers under 6, under 10, under 12, just to keep up my football skills, working and knowledge of football and learn. So yeah, that's all.
And Denzel, whatever I gather from the past, you also tried your hand at politics, if I'm not mistaken. So how did that go?
Yes, I did try that. So I've been trying many things to get connected to Goa and stay back in Goa. That's my, because I feel being in Goa is the ultimate thing for me. I love my state. I love the people of Goa. I love the atmosphere here, and I want to be. And I'm sure, sir, you will also, Sukhvi sir, you will also second me for that, because you are soon going to be a citizen of Goa in 3 months' time. So I'm sure you're going to be seconding, giving me a thumbs up for it. But yes, all said and done, I feel really privileged to be part of this state, and I want to be connected in whatever way I can to help the citizens of the state.
Wonderful. So, Bibiano, that brings me to you. Obviously, when I hear about a lot of legend stories and all that. Uh, Obviously, I'm told Francis D'Souza made the move to Goan Football, famous move, and it was in those times. But again, having seen you, really kind of getting into a Calcutta club and actually immersing yourself so well, so much so that you are a part of the management now. Now, imagine, I would have never imagined a Mohan Bagan or a East Bengal actually, having a professional from another state, leading that club or whatever. So tell us about that experience, Alvito, because a lot of a lot of our friends are saying that Goa is a great place to kind of live, and I agree with that. So what was the ambition and what was the passion that drove you to be a part of that, and now you are a critical part of East Bengal FC as such.
See, Suki, during my playing days, we Goans, we were known as homesick people. Everybody knew that, we would not move out of Goa. So that was like a big stamp on all of the Goan players. And there was also another saying from most of the people: the moment you step out of Goa, you'll be a failure. For the moment you go to big clubs like East Bengal or Mohun Bagan, they're going to make you sit. But then I had, in my mind, that why would a club pay you so much and take you and make you sit there if you're good enough? So, but then I was also very happy to discuss this with a colleague of mine, with a friend, and we are still friends as a teammate in Salgonkas, Frankie Pareto, who had a 1 year playing career with East Bengal. So I happened to take his guidance, and which I always mostly do that. And he's like my elder brother. And of course, there are many other footballers in Salgonkas who have also really helped me a lot when I was a youngster there. So he was the one who told me, like, don't think about anything. If you're getting an offer, just go for it. So I said this is the right time that I had to make a move, because after I had a 3 years contract with Salgonkas before when East Bengal approached me, and I had to say no to them. And when my contract with Salgonkas got over, if I had to still say no to them, then I thought that, East Bengal might never come back again to me. And that was the right time that I had to decide whether I want to go or not. And yes, I took it as a challenge. There were a lot of people from Goa as well saying, Alvito is Kabar. He's finished. Kabar in Konkani is like, he's finished. So he's spoiled his career by joining East Bengal. And yes, it's just by season that you have to take. And I took it match by match. So every match was like a last match for me. And one thing what I really said to myself, like, this is what I am here today. I mean, football is everything to me. Besides football, I am nothing. So every day, 90 minutes on the field or 120 minutes on the field, I have to push myself. I have to give my 100%. And if I do well, there's no one who can make me sit on the bench or keep me out of the team. And yes, that's how I'm here with East Bengal for the last 18 years now.
Absolutely. So, and pretty much, when did you believe that, let's say, again, as I already mentioned, why a Goan would get into a very critical role at the club rather than a Bengali? So how was that process? I'm very intrigued kind of to know.
You're talking about the role which I'm handling now?
Currently, post your retirement, you stayed back, and how was that process? I mean, how did they accept you? How did you adapt? What did you do to create the position for yourself?
See, to tell you very honestly, I stuck with one team, and that was East Bengal. So I played there for 15 years as my football career, or like less than, I've played for 14 years in East Bengal as a footballer. And then for the last 4 years, either scouting or recruiting players for the club. So the club had the belief that I understand football very well. I have the knowledge of football. And, I read the players' mind, and I know which players can be a good signing for the club. So the bosses, the management, they were all very close to me. They started believing in me. They started taking some help from me. Even during my football career, the fag end of my football career, they started taking some advice from me, like which players you think could be a good signing for us. Because, sometimes when you're playing against an opponent, like, you always know, like, who can be a good competitor, who can be a good signing for you. Like, in spite of me I always had a dream, like getting Clifford Miranda to East Bengal. Denzel Franco, you can ask him, I even approached him. We were almost there signing him for East Bengal, but couldn't. I knew these are the players who can make a big difference to any team that they join in. So Bibiano we had for one season. So, we know how well they could. And these were all like the bosses that asked me, like, how you think these boys could, play for East Bengal. Although there's only one guy, Clifford, as I always know that we play in the same position. But I always wanted to compete with him because for me, it's always about taking a challenge. Clifford, of course, I highly rate him as a very good player, one of the deadly left footers that we have in India. But for me, it's all about having a good team. For me, it's not about only I have to play in that position. I want the good players. And Clifford to me was one of the best left footers, and I wanted him in East Bengal. And along with that, I had many other players also I recruited. I suggested the club that we should go for this place. And sometimes we had some overall a good season. Sometimes we failed to win trophies. But then overall, I think the club management, they had some faith in me that I can recruit some good players or I have a good vision for football. And that is why I'm handling this role of a recruiter or a scouter.
So, a final piece of advice, Alvito, from your side to a lot of youngsters who are in Goa now, and as compared to your time when you had like 3 to 4 I League clubs kind of playing, National Football League clubs playing in Goa, the opportunities are limited. So, your piece of advice when the players are looking at what to do.
See, my piece of advice is, yes, I know, as Bibiano and all said, like, support is very important. Some of the parents, like, they don't support their kids. But yes, I know for them, education is everything. Of course, education is important. But at the same time, playing football or any sports is also very important. They should try and take this education and sports simultaneously, because they should always have the plan B ready with them. So if not something happens in football or any in sports, so at least you know where you can end your career. With education, you can also get into sports management. And once again, to Singh Ventures, Sukkhi, as you have done the right thing of having this agency in Goa. I mean, although like I see some of the players are only from Goa, but very soon, maybe after the lockdown, we might have a lot of more footballers joining your agency. And somebody like Denzel Franco, who's a role model for a lot of footballers in Goa, even as anywhere in India. So he has played at the top level. He's like a role model. And I think you've got the right guy with you. So yes, if any of the youngsters need any help, I think you should send Denzel to them, motivate them, guide them, because he's a role model. So sometimes what happens is players, they just come, they play and they go. But if Denzel sees the talent in them, so he can just go and, tell them where is he lacking? What are the weaknesses that he has in him? So with that, a player can always change. He needs to keep calling them. He needs to keep guiding them. Every day he has to be maybe at least even for 5 minutes. Have you done a workout and what are the workouts that you have done? So work on his strong part, like weakness. What the guy might be strong with something, but the weakness is what he's lacking in. That is where Denzel Franco can play a big role. He's a role model to them, and I'm sure the youngsters would definitely want to become the next Denzel Franco. A lot of other Goan footballers or the Indian footballers that we have around.
Absolutely. No, very, very valid, Alvito. I think your mention on how education can really help not only to kind of get a vocation or a job, but also open up minds of a lot of, as you said, you took up the challenge because you were open to a new challenge. So that is one. And again, on the left foot bit, I think it's a big debate. Who'll have a, I mean, I've seen your left footers at the East Bengal Mart games, Alvito, with with one shot. I think you used to get all the fans kind of roaring, and I think I still will kind of give it to you in terms of the deadliest left footer. But
thank you so much, Sukhvinder. Thank you so much.
But Bibyan, again talking to you, you deal with a lot of young students, young players. Now, coaching them is one thing, but as a mentor, as a elder brother, or as a father figure, sometimes, though you are very, very young, what is the kind of approach that you take in terms of guiding them for their career?
Yes, Suki, I'm not young. I look young. And I'm also a father, Suki. I've got 2 kids. So yeah, when I deal with these young boys, they need a lot of guidance. They need a lot of support, which I think we did not have when we were playing. We had to deal our career, our decisions on our own. Nobody was there to guide us, and somehow, okay, we made it. Somehow, but I feel now it has become more professional. There are agents coming in. There are companies coming in as your Sukkhi. So Sukkhi's Ventures. It's a lovely thing, where young people, young players will be guided in a right way, and make right decisions. Those are the very crucial decisions where sometimes in a player's career can change everything in their life. So this Sukkhi's venture, you and Denzel, Denzel working with you will help these youngsters a lot, and make proper decisions, guide them towards proper, making career in football, especially at the age where I am working, Suki, at under 15. That is the time when we play exposure matches outside India. There are so many scouts following our under 15 boys, and there are so many scouts who want to take Indian under 15 boys in Europe and train them and get them into some clubs. But somehow, somewhere, it doesn't work out. Maybe sometimes it's the boy who is not sure about his career. Sometimes it is the parents who are not supporting, or afraid of sending under 15 15-year-old boy to another country alone, and don't know what will happen. Sometimes also it is a mixture, it's a club where he has been signed, and something doesn't work out properly. So these companies, this agency companies will, I think, will help these kids to make proper decisions at the right time, at the right age, and if they make a decision at the right time, at the right age, it can change their career, they can make and feel secure about their future. And yes, as a father figure, I always advise my kids, under 15 boys. I give a lot of values, life values in life. I give a lot of stress on respect, a lot of stress on helping each other, and also on prayers. I make sure all the players, I stress on a lot of prayers, so that wherever they go, whether it is football after that, or whether it is some other business, or whether it is anything else. So you need these values in life to come up as a player, or as a person. Yes, Sukhi?
Viviano, very, very well said. I think, yes, I mean, nobody's seen the future. We never expected coronavirus to hit the world the way it did. So we can't be prepared for anything. But I think what you said is fantastic in terms of giving them the values, the principles, the fundamentals of life. So no matter what kind of situation, what kind of area, be it the sport, be it the family, be it social life, be it the professional life, I think they can deal with it. I think, and very, very well said. And thankfully, the new age of players that are coming into the national setup, and I think we see them a lot more aware as compared to maybe earlier times where the media, the access to information was not there. But on the flip side, I think the way you guys struggled through and kind of really built your character, I think the danger is that in the current times things are coming very, very easy, very, very nice. So somewhere or the other, I think there has to be that bit of balance. What in terms of the value system that needs to be imbibed, I think that's something that is very, very important. Clifford, you've dealt with the development team, and now you're transitioning into a first team. I'm sure your involvement kind of will remain in terms of managing the entire supply and the progression of young players also. How do you think your time with the developmental team, where again it is a larger role in terms of not only making them play and making them perform, but also guiding them to a senior player who definitely are kind of professionals. They are delivering what they need to deliver, but I think you also certain times would be in a situation where you're guiding them about their future or whatever it might be. So how would that how is that transition that you are looking at?
Suki, being at the reserve team, at the development team, is very easy to motivate them. To be honest, it's very easy because is for them it is one stage where they know that it purely depends upon them where they will go, whether they will go in the first team, they want to play in the first team, or whether they want to just be another person out there who tried to be in the first team and then who could not make it. So to be honest, that in the development team is very easy. You just have to just because they themselves know the dream. It's so easy to motivate them in the development team. The challenge is to control their frustration. That is the challenge, because sometimes what happens is when you see that they don't get enough opportunities. They think that they are good enough to go into the first team, and someone else makes it. They think that someone else somewhere is playing who was not good enough, who was not good enough when they were playing together in under 16 or under 17, and now he's already playing in the first team, whereas in the FC Goa team they are still in the development team. That is to make them understand that, to explain it to them, to control their frustration, to tame their frustration, to channelize their frustration into positivity. That is a challenge, especially with the development team. Otherwise, to motivate them is no big deal. Is not
So,
a because
so
the
sorry,
human.
Clifford. Beyond the game, beyond football, do you kind of get a request from younger players, even senior players, because you've gone through the entire kind of journey on certain other aspects of their life, social, personal? I mean, is there that level of interaction where you do believe that you have a role to play?
If it depends upon coach to coach and person to person, Suki. For me, I do touch upon their personal lives. I do touch upon their social lives, that they have to be responsible. But then, to be honestly honest, beyond football, I never look upon what they do. That's not my domain. I feel that I feel that for me, the most important thing is football, and what they do after. Of course, this is important, but I think these boys, especially the development, they are responsible enough. But then the most important thing is for them is to be good human beings at the same time. So I do touch upon as to what they must do and what they must not do, but I don't really go into detail as to how they want to do, or what they do, or what the manner is they want to do. Yes, of course, I'm always available for them to to listen, or to give them an ear, but then it purely is their decision. Because for me, I like to, for me, that's my way. And like I said, it depends upon coach to coach.
Wonderful. So moving on to Denzel, I think there's a lot of pressure that's already built upon you in terms of guiding a lot of young players, but I think rightly so. In about amongst almost like 40, 50 individuals and agents and player managers, I think just to also kind of know that I don't know for what reason lot of ex-players were staying away from this position or profile. Maybe it's more of a personal appetite or whatever it might be, but I do believe this job, and not being a professional player myself, I do believe the value that you can bring to the table for a club, for a player, for being a mentor. If you are a player, I think if you've been an ex-player, I think that the value is very, very super high. And I don't know for what reason a lot of uh, players stay away from this particular business. But you are somebody who's not only kind of, as I said, delved into politics, but the hospitality, you run a cafe, and now obviously you are meeting families, going into villages, and talking to a lot of parents. So what is your piece of advice to a lot of players and parents when you are meeting them?
So it's very simple. I first of all want to meet the families, the parents before having a word with the player, concerned player, and make them understand what I'm looking out for, so that there are many parents who have not gone through this process. They don't know exactly how to guide their player, their son, in this game. And with my personal experience, with the experience that I've had all these years playing for the national team, for the clubs in India, and that is what I go and speak to them, that this is how you need to be guiding your son. This is how you need to be, giving him the support. And after talking to the players, parents, that is when the next step is talking to the player itself and making him understand that how important it is for him to have an agent for himself. Because when it comes to negotiations, I've had experience. I'm sure my other colleagues here, my friends here, have had the same experience while negotiating contracts. Because back then we didn't have agents. We would be having negotiations with the owners, with the club managers, and if there was little bit ups and downs in negotiating, it would definitely affect you in your playing career. There would be something that the grudges or something that would come up in between your playing. Sometimes you don't perform, and that's the time the managers, they say, okay, this guy was asking for a lot of money, or this guy was doing this, he had this negotiation. So I think being a manager, I can be the middleman and speak for the player, on behalf of the player, guide him contract wise, that's fine. But when there is a problem for the player, when my player faces a problem in reality, in a club, I think it's not the player who should go and talk to the management. It's me who have to go and talk to the management, say, this is the problem I have of my particular player, and I want to sort it out in an amicable way. Whether it's in a good way, or how we go about with that, that's going to be dealt later according to the situation. But it's very important for a player to look out and have an agency working for him, be it in the contract way, or be it in his personal life as well. I mean, with my experience, experience of playing football for the last 20 years, from my grassroots, I feel whatever knowledge I have gained through this beautiful game, I want to imbibe that in these youngsters. I want to tell them that how to go about in this field of your career. You need to be professional. You need to be disciplined. You need to be dedicated to the game. And yes, if you have patience, if you have your support from your family, and you have the discipline that needs to be maintained, I think the players are going to look out and have a very good future.
Thanks, Denzel. Again, my apologies to a lot of people who definitely came on and they're still kind of hanging on to the live show. There's been intermittent issues with the audio because we are trying to live feed the Zoom meeting into Facebook. Some technical glitch, but apologies about that. And we just had, guys, the great coach Bimal Ghosh also kind of coming in. Watching it, and besides, yeah, a lot of people who obviously said that they've been messaging saying that if we can have the recorded version on YouTube as well as the Facebook timelines, which will definitely get to have, because there have been quite a few interesting points which, as I said, otherwise in regular conversation we kind of miss out. But your experiences as players, as professionals, as a part of management team, as people who are thinking about what next in football, definitely will inspire, will guide, will mentor a lot of youngsters who really need that kind of support. And I think all of you would also agree that unfortunately in India, a lot of players come from very challenged backgrounds, and at that time the families or even the close relatives don't have enough of experience to kind of guide them. So when they maybe listen to you, when they hear you, unfortunately they, every day they don't get an access to talk to the India under 15 coach, or somebody like Albito, or the FC Go assistant coach, and then Denzel. So somewhere or the other, I think this definitely, I hope, will give out a lot of insights and messaging to a lot of players. And my love for Goa definitely is supreme. And this is the reason we built this entire book as well as a series of episodes, to raise awareness about aspects of football beyond the technical side, which are related to the state of Goa. I do believe that we had a glorious past. In between, there was a little patch where everybody kind of agreed that football definitely didn't develop the way it should develop. I still think there are issues that continue, but over a period of time, I think I feel very hopeful with coaches like you, with legends like Albeit, and with people, younger people like Denzel coming into the system. I think they will also have a role to play in the development of the sport uh, in in uh, in Goa. And I hope we regain the lost glory. As a parting note, if anybody has any other comment, so please, you are welcome to share it with everybody who's following us. And definitely, I wanted to thank not only the panelists but also everybody who came on and stopped by to have a listen to our conversation. Alvito, you want to share any parting words? You're on mute, Alvito. Alvito, you're on mute, please.
Sorry. Yeah, Suki, just last thing before I leave, I've got a meeting at 5:30. So, one thing which I want to tell you is I wish the Singh Ventures, especially to you, Suki, you have taken a lot of trouble to launch this agency, so Singh Ventures, along with Denzel Franco, one of the role models for Goan footballers and also for the Indian footballers. He has played at the top level. My good wishes with y'all. And definitely, if any help y'all need from me, I'm always there. And I hope, we have few players right now. I've got the roster from Denzel few days back. But definitely looking forward for a lot of more players to come and join the Singh Ventures. And yes, my support and my love and my prayers are always with Singh Ventures, and especially to Suki and for Denzel. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Alberto. I think yes, football has given me a lot in my life, and particularly last 5 years in Goa has been again, as I said, the Karam Bhumi. But with all the things that we are doing around the book, which is on Goan Football, I think we are just trying to kind of glorify Goa. And at that point in time when we need to launch that book, some people like you, Alberto, definitely would be very important. And beyond
Sure.
obviously managing the players, we definitely are trying to work on the beach soccer project, which I think Goa definitely deserves a very good, robust beach soccer structure, as well as an elite youth system. So we'll keep everybody posted on that. But guidance and help and
Definitely.
support definitely is all that we require. We can't do it alone. So thank you so much, Albedo.
Anytime, Suki. Anytime. Thank you so much.
Good luck for the season, Albedo. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Suki. Nice talking to Bibiano. Clifford, all the very best, guys. I mean, Denzel, all the very best. Yep. See you. Bye.
Again, a formal thanks to everybody, in particular everybody who's taken time out to be a part of this session. Again, I just wanted to let our audiences know the recorded version definitely would be put on YouTube, and the links would be shared on the social media. But I think a lot of people came with a lot of interest. I can see their messages coming in, Clifford and Biblan. I think a bit of disappointment for them, but we'll make sure that whatever you have said gets recorded and gets put across. So thank you so much once again. I'll definitely let you go now. But thank you for sharing all your insights, which I think will only inspire and educate the younger generation of footballers in Goa as well as outside Goa.
Thank you, Suki. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you, Denzel, Clifford. Thank you so much.
See you
It was a
guys.
pleasure.
Thank you, Suki.
Thanks, Clifford.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Suki, sir.
Denzel.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Suki, sir.